It's been some time since Zhu Zhu Aquarium was first announced and released. I think it's time we get some updates on what the next Zhu Zhu Pets series could be for this generation. And boy, I have a lot to tell you on what this new series is about. Now, back then in the Toy Fair of 2023, one of the executives, I can't really remember her role, Laura Free of Sepia LLC, mentioned that the hamsters will be coming back after Zhu Zhu Aquarium. Now we're here in 2025, expecting the Zuzu hamsters to eventually come back into our hearts and also part of our collection. And it's here. It's like we just found these out of nowhere when searching around for just other Zhu Zhu Pet stuff that we want to complete for the collection, and that they just popped up out of nowhere. I present to you guys the second and upcoming Zhu Zhu Pets series for the third generation of Zhu Zhu Pets. That is Zhu Zhu City. We're going into the metropolitan life with these new Zhu Zhu Pets. More on that on this video. This following video is for the teen adult collectors of the community and is not intended for children under 13. What is up, everybody? My name is Rider Renegade, and today we are going to be talking about the next generation of Zhu Zhu Pets once again, as the new series of Zhu Zhu Pets have just been found out of nowhere because we were just way too curious on some other thing, and they just popped up right there as we were just being curious for stuff like that. So, the new series of Zhu Zhu Pets that are coming soon later on this year is Zhu Zhu City. Zhu Zhu City is the second and upcoming series of Zhu Zhu Pets, and it's based off the original Zhu Zhu Pet hamsters living in the new city life with a whole new different design. And let me just tell you, they look pretty cute, I gotta say. A little chubby, a little bit realistic, but overall, a perfect pick over the 2017 Zhu Zhu Pets, in which they're just way too cartoony. I kind of did say that we wish for the new Zhu Zhu Pets to be a little realistic, but this kind of takes it up over the top. But overall, they're perfect as is. They're not going to be as perfect as the original Zhu Zhu Pets from 2009, but they're pretty good nonetheless. We don't know much about them since these just popped up out of nowhere again. We've just found these out of nowhere and just saw that these Zhu Zhu Pets are going to be the next ones coming soon, later on this year, probably around maybe the summer. But I know for a fact that in the Toy Fair of 2025, they most likely will be mentioned somehow, and perhaps maybe a few more Zhu Zhu Aquarium. But we're going to be talking about Zhu Zhu City and see what there is to offer from what we see so far. Now, first off is the Zhu Zhu Pets themselves, and that is the hamsters. The hamsters are finally back, and it's literally the Fab Four and a few others of Series 2. We got Mr. Squiggles, Pipsqueak, Num Nums, Chunk, Jilly, and Scoodles. Now, these are the first 6 Zhu Zhu Pets that were found when we were just like looking into it and diving in after we first found them. And they're just like the original Zhu Zhu Pet counterpart from 2009, just more modernized to say the least. There is some notable differences besides their looks, and that is the fact that they have birthmarks. Now, this is the first of the series of the third generation of Zhu Zhu Pets to actually have birthmarks, since Zhu Zhu Aquarium did not have any birthmarks whatsoever because of their fins covering the area of the back button, which is understandable, I guess, but there could have been like an alternative to at least put it by on the sides. But hey, look, I don't work for Sepia, and I wish I did to basically give out these ideas, but this is what we get so far, and honestly, I still appreciate that we still have Zhu Zhu Pets even during these times. Now, with Zhu Zhu City, for these hamsters, which I'm going to say Zhu Zhu hamsters for this series, their birthmarks are actually quite different compared to the original Zhu Zhu Pets and 2017 Zhu Zhu Pets. And it's the fact that their color embroidery for their birthmarks matches well with the back fur color of the Zhu Zhu Pet themselves. As you can see, Mr. Squiggles is a spiral birthmark, an iconic symbol for the Zhu Zhu Pets line. Is basically brown, tannish per se, and it matches very well with his fur color. Alongside that, Pipsqueak's shooting star birthmark is yellow. Num Num's heart birthmark is gray like her fur. Chunk, basically, he's a white Zhu Zhu Pet. It's going to have the white birthmark. Alongside that with Jilly with the white birthmark for the sun and the cherries. But for Scoodles, his birthmark is an acorn, and it's brown embroidery that fits with the fur pattern. Now, this is actually quite a new detail, actually, and honestly, I'm all in for it. We've always wanted to see the birthmarks back again, since the Zhu Zhu Aquarium fish don't have birthmarks whatsoever. Would have been nice to see it, but understandable on Sepia's end. But it's finally just amazing just finally see the Zuzu hamsters with the birthmarks finally, ever since that didn't happen with Zuzu Fish. Another thing that is notable about their different design compared to the original is the fact their nose buttons are more like a little bit of a button sensor per se, kind of like the 2017, which is a little bit bigger to fit in, and their muzzle design is actually less cheeky, but it looks to be quite squishy in some way. Their fur texture is actually also quite different, as the original Zhu Zhu Pets from 2009, oh excuse me, there, my bad. The original Zhu Zhu Pets fur texture was actually quite thin, while these ones are a little bit quite fluffy. From what I could see in my own personal autistic eyes, I feel like their fur texture could be similar to that of the Series 9 Zhu Zhu Pet Peanut, or any other Zhu Zhu Pet whose fur is a little bit more longer than the supposed short-haired furred Zhu Zhu Pets. They are quite more softer just by looking at them, and just thinking that once you just, pet them, they just feel more softer to touch. Their eyes are beaded like the original Zhu Zhu Pets, but I feel like they're a little bit bigger from what I've seen. Though, just letting you know, these stock images are basically like the prototypes used to basically advertise them, even though there hasn't really been much advertisement for Zhu Zhu Pets, especially with these ones, because these were yet to be announced. They were just found out of nowhere, but their eyes look a little bit bigger. And honestly, I don't mind the big eyes, or basically just by looking at them if they're even big or not. I'm not too sure, but a more better option than cartoony eyes, to say. Same paws and everywhere, same tail. They're all basically just perfect as is. One thing that I want to note actually for one of the Zuzu hamsters for this series is that Jilly's pattern is actually quite different. She has a pink tail instead of just like a full-on backside area like the original Jilly, in which basically the whole back area of her is pink with like the portions of white for her torso. It's quite different. It almost kind of looks like my knockoff Zuzu Pet, in which I think those Zuzu Pets, those Zhu Zhu hamsters for Zhu Zhu City, I thought they were just missed out knockoffs that we just never seen before, and it just popped up out of nowhere. But no, these were real. These are the next things coming soon later on this year. From what I could see, it could be June, according to the CEO Sepia James Russell Hornsby on LinkedIn, that the OG will return in June. Generally thought that they would bring back like the original Zhu Zhu Pet design, but the characters being brought back is a better option than just going back to like the original route, but like with some little bit of modifications for this generation. That's understandable because we collected the original Zhu Zhu Pets for 2025 like that. Like that's the ones that we're getting. It would be pretty confusing to tell which is which from the original 2009, and if the 2025 Zhu Zhu Pets, or well, the third generation Zhu Zhu Pets would look quite similar to those. The big difference on them, on how they look more realistic, kind of actually helps out a little bit better as a collector myself. Now for the playsets that we've found so far. We've only found like 3 different types of playsets. They look pretty fun to look at, I've got to say. Now the first off that we have is the Zhu Zhu City starter set, and basically it's just like the aquarium starter set. There's no like roof area. There's just like a sign that says like the brand name Zhu Zhu City. And there's like a little bit of a decoration. Instead of coral from the Zhu Zhu Aquarium, it's like little trees and building views just surrounded all around the starter set. And instead of being blue, it's more white, actually. I don't know if it's going to be crystal white or pure white like the original starter set, but honestly, I really don't mind. We have our own starter set now for this new series, and I'm all in for it. I'm hoping they do bring back Patches, as she is the first ever exclusive Zhu Zhu Pet for the original Zhu Zhu Pets line, and they'll bring it back in like this new Zhu Zhu hamster style. That's what we've been wondering, actually, whether if Patches will come back, and either would she have chunk sounds or the unique sounds she was given in Series 4 with Jinx, Cappuccino, and Peachy. What we also hope that is they bring in other Zhu Zhu Pets. I'm hoping for Nugget, personally, and maybe Captain Zoo. I even did this edit of a fusion of Scoodles and Pipsqueak where I just try recreating Captain Zoo, and it looks so derpy. It's just that this new design actually is very odd. Like, I'm starting to get used to it a little bit more by the daily, but overall, I think they'll just grow on me just by then. But yeah, that is the starter set. It did mention on the listing that we found it. It's not on like Amazon, which is where we found some of the hamsters, but on like another like foreign site that it has hamster not included. So either we won't get Patches, or we do get Patches just in different regions. Hopefully it's the lateral. Now next up for the next playset that we see is the hamster wheel, and this is actually a different name for it. It is considerably the Ferris wheel. Basically, the whole vibe of the new Zuzu City setup is basically like a whole city life, basically like a fair and a more metropolitan type, while the original Zhu Zhu Pets was more of a household type of thing, in which a comparison between an original hamster and a robotic hamster is less messy with a robotic hamster than it is with a normal hamster, and everything was all like set up for them to just either drive around or walk around in a wheel. For this, it's basically considered a Ferris wheel for the Zhu Zhu Pets to just ride around and just go around the Ferris wheel and just have fun, while it's not literally considered a hamster wheel like the original Zhu Zhu Pets series and also 2017. It's quite a different aesthetic and mindset on how this one works. But hey, hamster wheel is back, and that's what I just needed. The last Zhu Zhu Pet playset for Zhu Zhu City is a fire truck and station. This we've never had before, and the vehicle for the fire truck actually looks quite different. Its wheels are a little bit more smaller than the original Zhu Zhu Pet vehicles, in which their wheels are just big. But honestly, this is a nice change. It has a fire station as well, and also the tunnel. Now, another thing that I don't know is if these Zhu Zhu Pet tunnels will fit in with the original line. I doubt it. I think it's just going to be fitting in the same way like the Zhu Zhu Aquarium, in which is more wider. And I think these hamsters might be a little bit bigger. So these vehicles are going to be quite big. There really isn't much copying from the original Zhu Zhu Pet line, minus the hamster wheel, in quotes, end quote, and the starter set. Like the fire station and the fire truck are completely new and I've never seen before within any generation of Zhu Zhu Pets whatsoever, and I love it. It's a nice addition. It's different for once. Like the submarine set, we've never seen a submarine before with the original Zhu Zhu Pet line and 2017. It's a new thing to add within this new series of Zhu Zhu Pets, and I'm all in for it, and I'm honestly excited for that. Now, that is all there is to share about these new Zhu Zhu Pets, but most likely more will come soon in the next month or two, when maybe most likely Sepia announces Zhu Zhu City sometime maybe in either middle or late February. Like, these just popped out of nowhere. I don't know if more will just pop up out of nowhere like these things. But honestly, I'll be on the search for them as much as I can, alongside with many other peers of the Zhu Zhu Pets community, which, by the way, it's best that you join the Discord server down in the link description. That's basically where they first hear about this whole information before I even say all this and waste my breath just by making a video out of it. It's best to basically look into it and keep in with the now for what's soon to come. But yeah, most likely more information about Zhu Zhu City and the Zhu Zhu hamsters will come soon later on in either late February or early March during the Toy Fair of 2025. What do you guys think of this new Zhu Zhu Hamster City series? Like, I'm actually quite excited. Like, I'm finally happy to see that the hamsters are back, and they are adorable. A little bit different than the original Zhu Zhu Pets, but honestly, a better take than the 2017s in my opinion. What do you guys think? Will you be getting these Zhu Zhu hamsters for this new generation, or just stick with the old and retro ones? Honestly, I like them. I'm gonna go all in for Chunk. Honestly, I'm glad he's back as pure white instead of that baby blue, because that just gives him more of a custom potential. Chunk was always been an iconic Zhu Zhu Pet and used for customs because of how blank he really is, so then you can put in all the design you want to do in your own imagination. Like, that is nice. I love that. Another thing that I also want to mention is that the birthdays are back. They finally have official birthdays, while Zhu Zhu Aquarium did not have any birthdays by their side whatsoever, alongside with the birthmarks. The Zhu Zhu hamsters are all back, like the OG characters for this new generation of Zhu Zhu Pets and within this new year, ever since they were first released almost 15 to 16 years ago. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about these new Zhu Zhu Pets, and what do you think there should be more of within the series. What I hopefully they give some type of redemption arc for the unreleased Zhu Zhu Pets like Boo and Snowball. I hope to see these Zhu Zhu Pets eventually see the light of day. Ugh. Well, it's saliva, my bad. I hope these unreleased Zhu Zhu Pets get to see the light of day somehow, whether if it's in like the old format or with this new format that's literally out. Maybe the last format so it doesn't get confusing by anything else. If someone decides to basically get a hold of a Boo and then just sell it on eBay whatsoever. I hope to see this series hopefully grow as much as Zhu Zhu Aquarium, and I'm just excited to see what's to come later on in the next few months or two. next month or two. But anyways, that is all for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out and stay zootastic.